Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know it's difficult. You can't see us back from up there, but thanks for the opportunity to join on the committee today for this important hearing. I also want to welcome our panelists this morning. Thank you both for being here. Director Sams, it's good to see you again. And I got to say, it's good to have a fellow Pacific Northwesterner in a position of national responsibility. So good to see you. I want to focus the committee's attention on something that's of huge concern that's happening in my district. The National Park Service, in conjunction with the Fish and Wildlife Service, recently decided, and I might add, against the will of the majority of my constituents, that they will be introducing grizzly bears into my district. You heard me correctly, grizzly bears. The federal government has finalized a plan to airdrop these bears into the North Cascades ecosystem. So, Director Sams, quickly, could you tell us how does airdropping apex predators into the NCE fit with the National Park Service's mission of preserving the natural and cultural resources of the national park system?
Thank you, Congressman. It's nice to see you again. I appreciate our work in the past, and I look forward to continuing our work in the future. The National Park Service is directly responsible for implementing the Organic Act, and the Fish and Wildlife Service, of course, is responsible for implementing the Endangered Species Act. These laws require the agencies to recover, protect, and preserve threatened and endangered species as a public trust to ensure future generations benefit from the same wildlife resources that we enjoy today. Restoring a population of the North Cascades would help advance the recovery of the species currently listed as threatened in the lower 48.
So I might point out that grizzly bears, as you know, have not existed in this ecosystem for decades. So the NPS truly is not preserving a grizzly park, nor does it support the NPS's goal. And I found this on your website in the About Us section, your goal of creating close-to-home opportunities for kids and families to get outside, be active, and have fun. I just got to say that it's a little too close to home for my constituents and certainly is not going to be fun. In reviewing the President's proposed NPS budget for fiscal year 25, I noticed that it proposes $194,000 for one FTE to function as a cultural liaison for Indigenous communities at the North Cascades National Park, Lake Chelan, and Ross Lake National Recreation Area. Now, I assume that this includes danger pay, as you also stated in your testimony. The most valuable resource the NPS has are its employees. However, I did not see a justification to support the translocation of grizzly bears from their existing ecosystem into the district, nor did I see any educational campaign or public outreach to inform my constituents, that people that live up there, and visitors who come to the area, that they must be aware of grizzly bears. Could you tell us how much your agency is allocating to activities surrounding the establishment of the bears in the NCE, including the protection of your employees and the inhabitants?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. As you know, we have this discussion. My people have lived with grizzly bears for 10,000 years, and their demise has only been in less than the last 70 years, really, in that effort. And looking at it, we know that we've been able to manage them as a species in the National Park Service, whether that be at Yellowstone or Grand Tetons. Matter of fact, my own family experienced them one night when a ranger came by to tell us a mama bear, grizzly, and her cubs were coming through. And we woke up and made sure that we were protected. And then as soon as they made their way through, we went back and went to sleep with no problem out in the woods. To your specific question, I'm going to defer to my colleague here to talk a little bit more about the funding process, but I can tell you we are committed to providing education in the community, and we're working very closely with Washington's Fish and Wildlife staff too.
I think in addition to the specific funding that is proposed as a programmatic increase for North Cascades, there's also more than $100 million proposed to restore the capacity that's lost in FY24 across every park and every program, so that the parks aren't absorbing that lost purchasing power, and they have additional funding to serve visitors and protect resources.
When your agency coordinated with the Fish and Wildlife Service to follow through with this, what I saw as a predetermined plan to bring the bears into the area, was the safety of your Park Service agents and the people who surround this ecosystem of consideration? Was there safety, or was there safety ignored, just like my constituents' belief is that their concerns were because the federal government knows best? I also want to ask, did the NPS consult with other federal agencies besides Fish and Wildlife Service?
Thank you, Congressman. I'll have to go back about all the other agencies we may have spoken with, along with Fish and Wildlife. But yes, we have a very robust training program about safety and working in and around apex predators, whether that be grizzly bears, wolves, or any mountain lions and the such. And we will ensure that also we provide that also to the general public when they actually intermingle or may have a chance in backcountry of coming across such apex
Let
predators.
me let you know that I asked the Acting Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection if he was aware of this new threat, because they have agents up in that area, CBP agents operating the northern border, and surprisingly, he was not aware. I just got to say that the example of this in my district, it's certainly not the first or probably won't be the last time the federal government, in my view, oversteps its bounds, particularly when it comes to endangered and threatened species. The people's concerns up there are valid. I think they need to be listened to. And I think with all the discussion that we've had this morning about other issues facing the Park Service, I believe that this money could be going to real issues that the service is facing, such as the wildfires, which you brought up, the housing issues, the shortages, road repairs. But instead, it's going to be going to this purpose that I think is going to just going to appease a lot of outside environmental organizations. It's my job to ensure that the voice of the people of Central Washington are heard, and that I want to let you know that the majority of the people in this area staunchly oppose apex predators being airdropped, literally airdropped into their backyards using their own tax dollars. So I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on this issue that's not going away and we've got to solve. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for going over time.
Gentleman yield.